the next hour or so, we're going to try to identify the big trends over the next year for business, for society, for media, politics, just about everything. I think we're going to move from real time to smart time. And by that, I mean, we've got so many companies communicating 24/7. There's huge amounts of noise. I think it's very difficult for, frankly, anyone to be interesting 24 hours a day.
This is the year that it will be the end of email.
Either Twitter is going to have to expand and allow people to start having arguments and conversations where you can bring the heat down because you have more space, or something else will take over from Twitter very rapidly.
The UK economy will do fine, I think, next year. I think we're now on a trajectory of growth, and it will be supported by, I think, a recovery in real wages. This Parliament will see the first fall in living standards of any parliament in modern times.
I still find it absolutely crackers that it's seen as good news every time housing prices go up. You know, for a lot of people that is not good news. I would say for the majority of people that is not good news. If you look at what's happening in London at the moment, London is dying because of the property prices. It's like the shutters came down in 2008. No young people are coming here, they're all moving out.
These businesses are trying to attract incredible talent and just actually finding that talent. Then the challenges of relocating them to London is an extra, challenge for an employer.
We continue to wrestle with the political impact of post-crash politics.
I can't see how we're not going to have at least one new political party formed in the next 2 years. If you look at political apathy and the reason that people aren't voting is because the narrative between left and right and the middle ground has been colonised.
I think UKIP will do a lot worse in the election than we think it looks like at the moment.
There's going to be incredibly high variability in the poll. We're going to see some really shocking results come May the 7th. What's going to happen? Well, the Labour Party will win, and we will have a working majority of 11.
Next year, after the general election, the charter negotiation is going to begin, and it's going to begin in earnest. I think it's going to be really, really tough. Probably one of the toughest negotiations that the BBC is ever going to go into. Big challenge for Tony Hall is, what does the BBC stand for today?
We're going to see a much bigger spread in diversity, and not just in TV and in cinema, but also in the press as well. Just more columnists of colour, more women of colour in there, more women, more transsexual stories. It has to stop being the straight white narrative, because this is why people aren't buying newspapers.
The worst is over for traditional media, but it's not for everyone. I think it's all about quality, and it's all about the high end. So if you're stuck in the middle in these kind of mid-market titles, I'm not really convinced that there's a long-term future.
This is going to be the year of the rise of the coder kid. Potentially our first multi-millionaire, 12-year-old CEOs of their own tech companies. Can you code it?
Do you know, I can't, but I am hoping my son becomes the first sort of multi-millionaire at 12.
And I think a lot of people talk about the technology revolution quite lightly, but it really is disrupting and going to fundamentally change so many businesses. I do think people are beginning to use technology a lot to actually measure their health and their well-being as well.
10,000 steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Life expectancy grows under a Labour government. The history of this is absolutely clear.
Because they're hanging on for the good days.
The best thing you could do for both your personal, physical and mental health is vote Labour.
I always say to teenage girls is the 3 hobbies that you need in order to be a healthy and happy teenage girl are long country walks, masturbation and the revolution. And with those 3 things, you should stay fairly sane.
Thank you so much for contributing this morning. Thank you very much to our panel.